Okay, so this is more of a video about me, my background, and a little bit about um, my life. This is actually a cat that visits us from my neighbor's house, so we're gonna let him go. But usually he comes in, he meows a lot and says, "Pay attention to me." Um, okay, we'll let you go now. His name is Diamond. Say hi, Diamond. Tell them how much you bother me. And us, right? Okay, we're gonna let him go. Now he's like, I don't want anything to do with you. All right, you can let him out.
Oh, okay.
And this is Elizabeth. Say hi.
Hello.
This is my 17-year-old daughter. She's a junior in high school. Okay, now we're gonna let Diamond out on the porch. Bye, Diamond. He just visits, meows, complains, right? And we say hi, and then he goes and visits some other neighbors. But I wanted to offer this video because a lot of times, especially with online learning, you're just looking at text, you're just looking at exams and assignments, and you don't really know much necessarily about the instructor. So now you know a little bit about me. The other things to say about me, though, for you to know, are just that I have a professional background in media. So I started out working at the Associated Press in the 1990s, where I was director of corporate communications. So my job there was promoting the news company and promoting the work of journalists. So, and that's where I got really interested in media law, because that's the moment that a lot of the questions around copyright and the reuse of other people's material was really starting to bubble up to the surface. And so I got pretty involved in a lot of those discussions, and was a spokesperson for a lot of the questions around the lawsuits that were going on in New York and with New York media at that time. So that's kind of how I got into this. I actually got into it by being on the job first, and then going back to school and learning a lot more about it. So that's a little bit about me. I thought what I would do, though, is talk to Elizabeth actually a little bit and put her on the spot. She's kind of like my ombudsman, because I will do this course, or I will do things online, or even in my regular courses, and I will say, what do you think the students will say if I do this? And are you usually pretty honest about? Yes.
I would say I'm pretty honest.
Yes.
Yes.
And do I do most things okay, or where do you think I do pretty well, and where have you criticized me recently? Can you think of a?
I would say you do pretty well in terms of like instructions and laying out clearly what everybody needs to do for the assignments in order to pass. I think lately the aspect that that I've corrected you most on is to make sure you put in a note to when you're talking with students about COVID-19, and say, if if you're going through something abnormal right now that you wouldn't normally, if you need to tell me about it, I'm here for you. If you need any help, we can work it out. And I think that's mostly what I've been encouraging.
And what have you noticed most with the online classes, like, that you've been taking? What works really well and what doesn't work really well? Like, what professors do? What do professors do that do this right? Because she's taking some classes at Durham Tech. What is it that teachers do well when they're doing the stuff online, and what is it that frustrates you about online stuff?
So I would say that the thing that has gone the best for me in terms of online learning is with teachers who are willing to get in touch with the students, whether that's through weekly meetings, even if they're optional, or through email. And just knowing that I have a human being on the other side, even if we can't be together due to the virus, it just really makes me feel better about where I am in the class. And I would say the thing that has been the hardest with online learning is when I have a grade returned and I'm unclear as to why I got points off. It's kind of harder to ask for feedback in an online setting, because you have to send a whole email, and it seems like an inconvenience as opposed to just a quick ask, in person. So I would say, like, with online learning, it's really vital, especially at the beginning of the semester, that you get feedback on what you did quote unquote wrong or need to improve on, so that you know what to do next time.
That's good. That's really helpful. I've got 2 sections of you all this first session, so about 25 students in each class, and try to get to know all of you. It can be tricky. But don't hesitate to reach out, because a lot of times I think students just sort of curse us in the shower a little bit. They're like, why did I get that grade? Or I don't understand this. And I have no clue that you're doing that, right? And the only way I can help you, or if I'm not being completely clear, right, the only way that we can help is if you actually ask. So like, don't hesitate to ask. I will do my best to answer. My expectations are pretty high on your part. Like, for you, I want you to like do the work, but I'm happy to answer stuff. So, I don't know. Do you have any more thoughts, or is that pretty much it?
That's pretty
That's
much
pretty
it.
much it.
Yeah.
I had to like, you know, convince her to do this a little bit. What else would you say? Is there any,
I
like,
mean, okay, before I started taking classes at the community college level, I was at a regular high school, and probably the biggest problem I faced with teachers there is that they had a tendency to pick favorites and not treat everybody with the same respect. This was not everyone, but it was quite a few, and I'm always reminding her, like, make sure,
yeah,
you treat everyone with the same respect, hold them accountable, but also don't come off as biased in your notes, because we really care about that as students. Also, with the pandemic situation, it's especially important to maintain that common respect, because you don't know what somebody is going through.
right.
So
She's really big on fairness and justice, and so I feel like I'm raising her well. She's raising herself too, but okay, that's a little bit about us. I won't do this much, but there's something about online learning that I feel like there's this wall, and if we can try to erase some of that during the course of the next couple of weeks, I think that that's super helpful, especially given the situation we're all in right now, where many of us sort of stuck in our homes, and we want to get out. So do the work, be safe, be well. Let me know how things are going.